Get ready for the action because Advanced Micro Devices has smashed through a new 52-week high. Shares of AMD hit $469.22 during Monday's trading, continuing a massive rally fueled by the explosive demand for AI infrastructure. We dive into how CEO Lisa Su is completely reshaping the future of server CPUs and what this means for the entire AI stock landscape.
Stop using your finger for notes, sketches, and edits. This Jam Jake stylus pen gives your iPad a smoother, more precise writing feel with palm rejection so your hand can rest naturally on the screen. It charges fast, works for hours, and comes with replacement tips. Perfect for school, work, or creative projects. Check the link in the comments to grab it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the broader market reaction as NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel face pressure. We're breaking down why microchips are signaling a potential pullback, examining the technical signals for AMD, and tracking the cautious outlook for Intel as traders search for value. We then analyze the incredible performance behind the headlines. We examine AMD's blowout first-quarter earnings, the massive growth in their data center revenues, and the expanding AI portfolio, including Meta's plans to deploy Instinct GPUs. Plus, we explore the looming revolution of quantum computing and the experts predicting who will dominate that new technological frontier. And finally, we get the latest hardware news. We look at the massive deal where AMD just dropped the Ryzen 9 7900X CPU by a whopping 44% on Amazon. Don't miss out on these critical developments. Stay with us, because this is your essential update for the market. Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD, has achieved a significant milestone, hitting a new 52-week high of $469.22 during Monday's trading session, before closing at $458.79, marking a daily gain of 0.79%. This surge is part of a broader rally, with AMD climbing over 117% year-to-date, fueled by growing evidence suggesting that the next major wave of artificial intelligence infrastructure spending will heavily favor server processors over graphics cards. AMD recently reported quarterly results that surpassed Wall Street expectations across earnings, revenue, and forward guidance. CEO Lisa Su emphasized the immense demand generated by AI agents across the entire spectrum of AI adoption. In a significant move, Su revised the company's long-term projections for the server CPU market, boosting the compound annual growth rate forecast from 18% to 35%, and raising the addressable market estimate to $120 billion by 2030. Research from GF Securities supports this outlook, projecting the broader server CPU sector to expand from $26 billion in 2025 to $135 billion by the end of the decade, signaling a 38% compound annual growth. GF Securities identified AMD, alongside Intel and Qualcomm, as the best position to capitalize on this cycle. Furthermore, AMD's data center CPU division is anticipated to grow by 73% in 2026, with the company actively increasing wafer procurement and back-end production capacity to meet surging demand. Following these strong results, major financial institutions have reacted positively. Goldman Sachs and Bernstein upgraded the stock to a buy rating, citing robust CPU demand driven by AI computing requirements, while J.P. Morgan characterized the quarter as a structural inflection across both server processors and data center accelerators. Wedbush analyst Matt Bryson increased his price target to $450, pointing to improved unit volumes and favorable pricing linked to compute infrastructure supporting agentic AI. The prevailing Wall Street consensus remains a strong buy, with 27 buy ratings and 8 hold ratings, and a mean 12-month price target of $442.94. On the most bullish side, investor Stone Fox Capital projects AMD revenues could surpass $100 billion next year and forecasts a share price of $600 by 2029 based on a 20 times earnings multiple. However, caution exists within the market. BTIG analyst Jonathan Krinsky warned that the current semiconductor rally resembles the late 1990s technology bubble and cautioned that the sector could face a 25% to 30% correction. Bank of America adopted a more moderate view, projecting the data center CPU market to grow from $27 billion in 2025 to $60 billion by 2030, suggesting that the ultimate outcome hinges on the pace of agentic AI adoption. Microchip stocks, including NVIDIA, AMD, and Intel, are facing potential pullbacks amid recent sharp upward movements in the market. Analysts suggest that a correction is likely as the market digests recent volatility, influenced by geopolitical concerns in the Middle East and general risk appetite. NVIDIA is expected to see some early gains retreat, which is viewed as healthy for establishing value, particularly given its dominant position in the artificial intelligence sector. Advanced micro devices is also anticipated to pull back, with technical levels pointing toward a potential test of the $400 mark, with downside targets as low as the $370 level. The trading strategy emphasized is finding undervalued assets rather than chasing momentum. For Intel, the outlook suggests a significant pullback is overdue. Technical patterns indicate a topping formation, with attention focused on the $100 level as a potential area for a value play. While shorting is not recommended, patience is advised to potentially secure shares at more favorable prices. Overall, the sentiment points toward a period of consolidation, where patience is key for traders looking to capitalize on emerging value opportunities in the microchip sector. Advanced Micro Devices Inc. AMD has demonstrated robust performance in its latest quarterly results, posting adjusted earnings of $1.37 per share, surpassing the Zacks consensus estimate of $1.30. Quarterly revenues reached $10.25 billion for the quarter ended March 2026, exceeding estimates by 4.09%, compared to $7.44 billion a year prior. This strong performance has fueled a significant surge in the stock price year-to-date. AMD is capitalizing on the escalating demand for artificial intelligence infrastructure, which is driving growth in its EPYC server CPUs and Instinct accelerators for cloud and enterprise customers. The company is actively expanding its AI portfolio, moving from the Instinct MI355X to the MI450 series and the Helios rack-scale platform. Data center revenues saw a substantial 57% year-over-year increase to $5.8 billion in the first quarter of 2026, bolstered by increased shipments of EPYC and Instinct products. Customer engagement with the MI450 and Helios platforms is intensifying, with management citing leading customer forecasts and a growing pipeline of large-scale deployments. Notably, Meta Platforms Inc. plans to deploy up to 6 gigawatts of Instinct GPUs, with the initial 1 gigawatt deployment utilizing a custom MI450-based GPU. AMD is strategically targeting annual data center AI revenues in the tens of billions by 2027. The server CPU market is experiencing rapid adoption driven by AI workloads requiring enhanced CPU orchestration and data movement. Server CPU revenues grew over 50% year-over-year in the first quarter of 2026, with management forecasting growth exceeding 70% in the second quarter as supply ramps up. AMD is positioned to launch its 6th-generation EPYC Venice later in 2026, with increasing customer validation. Key catalysts supporting AMD's outlook include broad hyperscaler adoption of EPYC across general-purpose compute, data processing, and AI head-node use cases. In the first quarter, major players including Amazon AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and Tencent announced new and expanded 5th-generation EPYC-powered instances. In the enterprise segment, the company reported record revenue and sell-through, driven by new wins in on-prem and hybrid deployments. Financial estimates reflect strong future projections. The Zacks consensus estimate for 2026 revenue is $48.02 billion, projecting a 38.6% year-over-year improvement, and EPS of $7, marking a 67.9% year-over-year increase. For 2027, the consensus estimates revenues at $67.84 billion and EPS of $10.98, indicating substantial growth. AMD currently holds a Zacks Rank 1 strong buy. Positive revisions for both 2026 and 2027 earnings and revenues in the last 7 days signal strong market expectations for continued business execution. Coupled with the massive growth trajectory in agentic AI-powered server CPUs, the stock shows significant long-term upside potential. Beyond AI, the report highlights the emerging potential of quantum computing as the next technological frontier. Large hyperscalers are actively integrating quantum capabilities into their infrastructure. Senior strategist Kevin Cook has identified several stocks poised to dominate this quantum landscape, suggesting a new area for significant portfolio positioning. AMD has significantly lowered the price of its Ryzen 9 7900X CPU, marking a substantial discount on the high-performance processor. According to recent reports from WePC, the CPU was dropped by an impressive 44% on the Amazon platform. The Ryzen 9 7900X is a powerful, unlocked desktop processor featuring 12 cores and 24 threads, positioning it as a top-tier option for demanding users and enthusiasts. This aggressive pricing move is making the flagship chip more accessible to a wider market segment, fueling increased interest in high-end computing hardware.